Good evening, everybody, and welcome back to the analysis of the second Test match, England v India at Edgbaston, which is just completed. It was pleasing to see India with the emphatic first win at Edgbaston. They played there many times before, but never won. I was pleased to see the changes and the adjustments Team India made in terms of their selection.
No, but we weren't pleased with the changes because we didn't like the changes at first. Kuldeep wasn't there. Bumrah was dropped.
Well, initially that's a decision they took. What was nice for me, I think, with the changes they made, everybody contributed. It was nice to see Washington Sundar come in and all-round role to support Jadeja, who played key roles in the middle, because in the last Test match, as you remember, twice the tail got demolished, collapsed very quickly. So on this occasion, the support was there, and India managed to get a score of 500 plus and 600, respectively, in the second innings, which meant, they were in a very strong position and not likely to lose this Test match. And so it was nice that the captain, Shubman Gill, leadership and contribution of 430 runs, frankly, was outstanding. Don't forget, he's still relatively new captain, and he's still learning after the first Test match. Mistakes were made, but this is inevitable. And going forward, he would have learnt a lot from this and remedied some of those mistakes in this match. So,
like following the ball, what DK was saying in the field.
Yeah, I'm setting the right examples. Scoring 430 runs for him, he set another record in this Test match. But of course, it'd be very pleasing that this particular record against his name will be the first time an Indian batsman has scored 250 plus, and in the second innings 150 in the same Test match. I believe that's never happened before. So
it was 150 in the second one.
Yes, plus 150. So he got 430. Yeah, 279 and 161, I believe. So and of course 269 in the first innings. Yeah, and also Akashdeep's performance.
Brilliant.
Must not forget his 10 wickets haul in this Test match, which is sending a clear message to the England team. There's 10 other players apart from Bumrah who can win the Test matches for India. It's not just a one-man show. And, it's demonstrated, I think, to England that there is a talent. It's just a question of getting the right team for the right conditions. And, that was pleasing. As I mentioned earlier, Washington Sundar come in, played a very useful role along with Jadeja in the middle order to support Shubman Gill at the time when they lost 3 or 4 quick wickets. Middle order, both Washington Sundar and Jadeja were able to continue and support him to enable him to get to the 500s and 600s.
Yeah, no, it was a convincing win. 350, what was it? 386 in the end.
Run win.
So it was, like you said, like without Bumrah, it was it's a statement victory, they called it, right?
Yep.
So yeah, that will make England shit themselves basically going forward. It's 1-1 now. If it had been 2-0, it would almost be game over. So they needed to win. That was a must-win game, and they took a big risk. I wasn't happy with the changes. I know you weren't happy with them, with Kuldeep still sat out, Bumrah risking it such a big Test match. But I think Reddy, he didn't contribute. He got 1 in both innings. He didn't even barely bowled. So he's a good player. He's young, but I think they should bring in Harshit Rana, who's tall, aggressive. Siraj stepped up this game. He got key wickets. Stokes, when he edged it off the shoulder of the bat in the first innings. So he stepped up to his role as well. And I think the players, they stepped up this game.
Yeah, I think with India now, it's clear that Bumrah is going to be back for the third Test match at Lord's. And the key is, the bowlers using the slope at Lord's, and also the batsmen, don't forget, a lot of these Indian side have never played at Lords, so you need to take that into account, that factor, and overcome. I think at the moment it's the England team who have a lot of soul searching to do and pick the right team for the next Test match rather than India. With India, I can see Bumrah coming back. Possibly one other change with. I'm not sure whether Karan Nair is the right person for number 3. Number 3 is a key role, and I don't think he is the right.
Get someone new in, they could give side chance.
And whether they retain Reddy somehow with the temperatures at Lords for the next 5 days from Thursday onwards at 30 plus. I'd like to see Kuldeep Yadav in the team as a spinner, because I think with the weather conditions, the spinners are going to be the key, and I like to see him come in. But the question is, do they take a risk by dropping a batsman and bringing
Reddy, he didn't do anything.
Another spinner into the side? You
can't drop Jaddu. He got key runs. 89, and he's probably.
So the two people in question is possibly Nair and Reddy. And whether they're comfortable with the top order scoring big runs and taking a chance and bringing a bowler in and dropping a batsman. I think that's the question. Having said that, will India do they need to make 2 changes after winning emphatically?
Yeah,
or do they just stick with the winning side? And obviously Bumrah we knew was going to come in instead of Prashit Krishna.
Prasid is the one that could definitely go as well. He's expensive again. 6 runs and over. I think he was leaking again. So drop him. Siraj played well. Like I said, bring in Bumrah. I'd bring in Rana, and I think what do you? I think they should get Sudarshan ready. Not to no pun intended there, but he's proven himself in the IPL. He's just played 1 game, so he was brilliant in the IPL, wasn't he? One of the top run scorers.
I think
left-hander.
I think he's got a role to play, but probably not at number 3. Number 3 is a key role for.
So who'd you put there? Gill.
Cricket. No, Gill at number 4 is scoring the run, so I would leave him there. My only possible consideration is, can you play Washington Sundar at number 3 and then bring in Kuldeep Yadav? So you've still got a batsman in there, an all-rounder who can do a job, and a bit like England tried their wicketkeeper who came in and is promoted to opening the innings, and he
Who's
did.
That? Jamie Smith,
and
he played brilliantly.
So it worked for him. So is it a case? They could utilise Washington Sundar at number 3, and then they have the opportunity of bringing.
I like the idea, but I don't think so. So we talked about the changes. I want to touch on India's performance here. So talk to me about, like I said, Siraj stepped up, Akashdeep bowling accurately, bowling near the stumps. Yeah, I didn't watch too much of him, specifically, but he was bowling. He was bowling at the he's bowling at the stumps line and length, right? That's what was causing.
And the key was the adjustments Jadeja made. Do you remember in the first Test match, Jadeja, wasn't using the rough outside the off stump, 2 foot outside the off stump with the bowler's footmarks. This time, he was actually using those footmarks, and he was unplayable on the 4th, 5th days because he was actually bowling in the rough, and that made a huge difference. Now, clearly, management, had spoken to him, and it worked. So these small adjustments, which they made, it's pleasing to see those adjustments, and these small adjustments worked in their favour. As far as the fast bowlers, I think Akashdeep did really well. Coming into side, he's aggressive, he was accurate, and picked up key wickets, frontline wickets. And
he was bowling them as well.
And a 10-wicket haul, and particularly the wicket I enjoyed was when he bowled Joe Root, in the second innings. And Root, if he stays in place for a long time, can make the difference. So key wickets and all the front line, the top 5 batters.
Yeah, Root thought he should be at Wimbledon instead, wearing a suit where he should be training.
Yeah, I saw Root at Wimbledon, watching cricket instead of practicing, which which is just saying that I
need to train.
Having lost this Test match badly, that I don't really care, and I'll go and watch the tennis instead. So so I feel India are in the driving seat in their left-hand drive convertible. Let's hope they stay on track and are in the right gear at Lord's, and they can forge ahead. As this is the number 3 Test match, is a key Test match going in number 4 at Manchester. So I think they've done very well to come back, and as I said, they're in the driving seat now.
So Gill, as a captain, he really grew into the leadership role, getting 269, getting 150 plus. He really showed that he's taken on the captaincy well, and he showed that he's actually taken on the pressure really well. So I initially doubted him as captain. I know he done well in the really well in the IPL for Gujarat Titans, and I thought it was too premature. But he's shown that can handle the pressure and grow into the role. So it was a great decision by.
Well, he's demonstrated not only that he's got leadership skills, but he's also maintained, scoring big runs. I said in the last Test match where India lost that game was, although they scored 500s, nobody went on to get a big 100, and the highest score was by an England batsman, Duckett, scoring 149. Yeah. But in this game, it demonstrated Gill getting 269 in the first innings and 161 in the second innings, made the difference. When you're in, you've got to go on and get that big score and put the game outside the reach of England, which is exactly what they did here. And they failed to do it in the first Test match when they had 2 opportunities to do it, and they didn't do it. So I was pleasing to see they have learned from that. They've learned from the mistakes, adjustments have been made and rectified going forward, and let's hope they carry on learning. And Pant also needs to have a responsible. He's a vice captain of this side, and I wasn't happy when he threw his wicket away in the first innings, and he made up for it in the second innings with a quick fire 65. However, he has the responsibility as a vice captain and play according to the conditions of the match and the state of the match at the time. He's got to take that into account. It's not a one-man game, which is, I think, what happened in the first Test match. Everybody felt they scored 100, done my job, and that's it. But you've got to carry on. When you're in, you go big and put the game outside the reach of England. So, I'm pleased they learned from that. So let's hope for the third Test match, India go well at Lord's. It'd be great atmosphere, it'd be a full house, and we'll look forward to that match starting on Thursday.
When it was a key time when it was 211 for 5 when Gill and I think it was Pant were in, so India were in trouble, and that partnership turned it around. So they really stepped up because we thought the game was going to be 2-0. England putting them in again. I think they won the toss, England again, put them in.
Yeah. But Jadeja played a key role, didn't he? Got 80
yeah, he batted well, and then Pant also played well in the second innings, if I remember. But I love Pant's style of aggression. He takes it to them. It's like Sam Constas for Australia. You need that. He's basically, and what they were saying was Stokes gets on with Pant because they're quite similar because Pant's aggressive and he's basically playing England at their own game by playing baseball, and I like that. So you need that. You can't just let England run over them. And then also they might bring an Archer, won't they, for the second test? You think England might drop Tongue or Cass or someone?
I think England will make at least 2 changes. Yes, Archer will definitely come into the side because with India scoring 500 and 600 in the second Test matches, clearly Shubman Gill, they're used to the bowlers and they've got to make these changes and bring something different. And so I can see at least 2 changes. Archer will come in and possibly Gus Atkinson could also come in. The only thing is both of them haven't got too much game time at the moment because they haven't played a lot of Test cricket of late, and so there is a risk factor for them to do this. But they're at a stage, I think, where they need to make the changes, and whether Jacob Bethel can come into the side and as a batsman. You know, and it could also be used as a second spin bowler because Bashir has been going for quite a few runs, so you know Bethel could possibly come into the side as well. Let's see.
But it's you know, this game is key. Whoever makes it 2-1, you know, that will like, you know, take the lead. So I think at Lords is always the players want to perform, don't they? Get on the orders board, get the hundreds. But like I said, they can't make it by themselves. They have to carry on. And I think Rahul's continued to do well. First innings obviously didn't do anything, but second innings he stayed in there. I think
he's a key player for India.
He's a senior player.
Yeah.
I think, as I said, Jaddu he stepped out. I told you can't drop him because he's a legend. You know, he's batting, bowling, fielding. Akashdeep has earned his place. I think India have got they've got options, but Bumrah will definitely come in, won't he? Kuldeep.
India's side is a blend of youth and experience, and you've got to get the balance right. So you need the experience players like Rahul and Bumrah in the side, Pant who've been in the side, along with Jadeja, and then you've got the youngsters, Jaiswal coming in. You've got Akashdeep in the side, and you know you've got a few other newcomers coming into the side. So you need the right balance, and I think India have that now. It's just a case of taking the conditions into account. You know, spinners I think will play a part here, particularly with the weather conditions being 30 plus at Lords for the next 5-day forecast. So,
what do you think Mr. MS Dhoni will be? I would have thought watching that game, and Mr. Kohli as well. What do you think they would have been?
I think they'd be pleased that you know the game's level at 1-1 because if India just managed to get a draw here, you know, England would still be ahead, and so you know it was pleasing to see that even though the number of overs were reduced on the last day, they managed to pick up the 8 wickets they needed on the final day, and you know they had the bowlers to do the job, and so I'm looking forward to the third Test match. But I think a lot of questions for England, and you know picking the right team for them is going to be the key, and so I think they got more headaches than India have. So. You know, as I said, India are in the driving seat. So
India should have won the first game as well. Should have been 2-0.
Well, they had the opportunities. They had 2 or 3 chances. You know, they dropped a lot of catches. The tail enders didn't score any runs. A couple of mistakes were made in terms of the captaincy. Jadeja, you know, not bowling in the rough and so on, and Shubman Gill, I think, should have gone up to him and had spoken to him regarding that. So, you know, those things certainly improved in the second Test match and made a huge difference, and also bringing in Washington Sundar. So, you know, I'm hopeful that India will go well here in the third Test match.
Yeah, and final question from me: Do you think Gambhir made the right choices then overall with the team, and what do you think of his leadership as well as a coach?
The good thing is the series is over 5 Test matches. So, you know, you have the opportunity. If you don't get it right in the first Test match, you can make the changes and you can come back. And even at 1-1, you know, at 2-1, the team can still come back and win the series. And I hope it's India who are at 2-1. And, you know, one thing with England is when they're down, they do always come back. And, you know, Indians have to be wary of that. And so, you know, no complacency should come into play here. And they still need to do the job. Every player selected for that side needs to perform their role. It's a team game and it's not an individual game. And you know, in this Test match, demonstrated that India played as a team, and even though Bumrah wasn't there, they managed to get the 20 wickets, and they managed to score big, 500 and 600 runs respectively, and that's what was pleasing for me. So
Brummer might have been thinking, yeah, he looked a bit worried on the bench, thinking maybe they don't need me in the end. But of course, he's still the best bowler in the world. So yeah, well, we'll look forward to Lords and see how it pans out in a couple of days. Thanks, good analysis as always. Yeah.
Look forward to the third Test match, guys, and we'll be back soon. Enjoy.
All right, see you soon.
Cheers.